Hello everyone, welcome back to Heavy Handed Hobbies. Thank you for visiting the channel. There hasn't been a lot of activity on here for quite some time. I kind of wanted to address that. Not that I had a huge fan base, but I just want to kind of explain a trap I got myself into that could possibly happening to you. So I got into the Warhammer a long time ago. I wanted to do something with my friend. He really enjoyed Warhammer. I enjoyed the painting part of it, not so much the fighting part of the playing part of it. It was kind of, for me, I wasn't really into the games taking all day long. And but I really enjoyed the painting. I won some painting contests and nothing like Golden Demon or anything, but some local stuff. Because I was inspired by channels like Midwinter Minis, for instance, I wanted to do something like that because I really enjoy making YouTube videos. I kind of dove into it head first and felt like with my equipment, I've just got a basic camera and microphone. So I felt with my equipment, I just couldn't do the production value. I was comparing myself to those other channels. What I had done was kind of painted myself into a corner in a way. I felt that I needed to do that type of high-end video, but with my equipment, I couldn't do it. But I also couldn't paint just for a hobby anymore because I felt like if I painted, I needed to be recording it. And because I couldn't record at that high quality, I felt I couldn't paint and I shouldn't paint. So it was just like an endless loop of I'm not painting because I can't be as good as some of the other channels. So I just wasn't painting. And as you can see behind me, I got quite a backlog of mainly orcs. I just got the big packs that came out. I still enjoy painting and I still wanted to do this, but I just didn't have the production value, and so I didn't want to paint, blah, blah, blah. This little bastard, this thing really threw a wrench into everything. I wanted to give this the feeling that it was hot from the inside, like it was lava. And then also with the base, I sculpted this base by hand from Sculpey, and I wanted it to be kind of this cracked ground that the wyvern was on. All right, so as you can see here, we have our base. This was created with the original base from the piece with some Super Sculpey that I molded on here and then removed it and baked it in an oven. Trying to create the feeling here of flowing lava. And I tried to, with a brush, create kind of a bounce light here to give off that feeling of heat. I'm not sure it's selling though. That it's a little bit harsh, I guess. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know if it feels like it's glowing, and that's really kind of stumping me. And then the wyvern itself. This also, I was trying to give this feeling of that it has an internal furnace. That it is hot inside. I tried to do that by shading opposite. So the deeper the crack, we went from yellow to white to yellow to orange to red to black. That's kind of opposite shading is what I was going for here. So the deeper and the further in, I went with yellow, and then moving out to where on the back, it even is like cooled lava rock. That's kind of what I was going for on this piece. And of course, I got the figure for the back, and it fits on the base like this, kind of have it stepping across. I put a pin, so it's pinned in once it's glued. But then I have its foot coming over onto this rock, and it stands there like that. So let's see if I can get a good shot. Yeah, so it stands on the base like that. I think it's a nice pose. I also took the piece and cut it so that it had more of a serpentine slither to the shape from the top, because the original figure doesn't have that. It is like a straight arrow. So I wanted it to feel more like a slithering serpent. So I cut the tail and I cut the body part here so that I could bend it and make it more serpentine. And I think that sells pretty well. What's not selling for me though is the heat. I don't feel I have the heat. Now, I did make another piece in the past. This is not from Warhammer. This is from the game Vor the Maelstrom. And this is a growler. And the growler is painted similarly. It's kind of a lava inside, but I think this works. I don't know why I feel this works and the other doesn't. They are quite similar in the way they're painted. I like this way more. So, yeah, and it's even got a similar base, which I believe I just made with glue and sand. So what do you think? I have 3 airbrushes. I think I could probably try airbrushing to give it more of a subtle gradation rather than harsh, but also I realized that perhaps the answer might be if the heat from the Wyvern was bouncing off the ground, that might help. Have it more like the heat from the Wyvern is shining onto the ground. That may require a complete repaint, but yeah, that might be something that might work too. I hit a few skulls here and there just to be kind of cool, but let me know your thoughts. I just wasn't getting it. It just wasn't feeling right to me. I've got this kind of thing, I'm sure some of you have it too, where I can't move on to something else until the thing I was working on previously is done. And so that threw a wrench in the system too. So I've been trying to get through that, and I just kind of figured, what the hell? I'm just going to do it. So I hope you can join me here. We're gonna try to knock out some of this. I've got orcs mainly. I've also got some Sister of Battle stuff here. I started getting into them because I really enjoy the figures and I think the army is cool, but they're intimidating to me because orcs are bigger and orcs are greasier and orcs are dirtier. You don't have to be quite as precise with an orc as you do with the Sister of Battle, with the delicate striping and adornments on her armor and stuff. So I find those intimidating. I wanted to dive into those on the channel and fight that fear of painting those. And also, because I'm not into painting or into playing with them, I decided what's going to make this fun for me, and I just don't want to end up with a bunch of figures in a box somewhere, a bunch of painted, cool looking figures in a box. That's what I don't want. So I thought I would do dioramas. And specifically the things I'm interested in are, there's so many battle dioramas of orcs and other armies fighting. I wanted to try something a little different. I wanted to try doing some of the orcs in maybe I've always kind of wondered, what's life like for them when they aren't fighting? What are they doing at home? Are they working on stuff? So like making some scenes of life in the armies when they're kind of off duty, especially orcs. As an added thing, I wanted the base to fit into the diorama so that if you did want to play with the pieces, you could just take them out and play with them and then put them back when you're done. So kind of in a way, the diorama becomes a display piece for the figures themselves. That's the type of thing I want to create. That's the type of thing that excites me. So what do you say? I'm just going to dive in and see where I can get. I hope you can join me and come along for the ride. Thanks a lot.